Hello, my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time on this fine Sunday, are we living and loving, my darling? This is an old outfit. Must be 3-4 years ago that I bought from Zara. I bought them separately, but I am going for a gender reveal. Can you guess? I don't even know why they said it's a reveal, because anybody knows that, you know, if you're wearing pink, it's gonna be a girl. But they said they want all of, well, no, half of us are going to wear pink and then the other half are going to wear blue. I was fine. I just thought, you know what, for me, go big or go home. So this is me. But I thought, let me stop by first to do a part 2 of the Brigitte Macrons versus Candace Owens. So let's get this out the gate. Tom Clare, who's the lawyer for the Macrons, of which they have filed a 219-page lawsuit, defamation lawsuit against Candace in Delaware, has declared that they have been in touch with Candace for the past year, since January at least, giving her all of the evidence that Brigitte Macron is female all the way.
Tom Clare is the attorney representing the Macrons and joins me now. Mr. Clare, I'm grateful. You will forgive me. I've not read much of the 219 pages at this point, but it's still early days. Look, Tom. Politicians, the Macrons, they're used to having everything thrown at them. Why did they decide on this occasion this had to be litigated and therefore into the full glare of publicity?
Of course. Thanks for having me, Richard. The Macrons, just like any other person, have a reputation and they have a right to their reputation. And this was not in any way their first choice, was to have to bring this claim. For the better part of 7 months, they have tried to get Candace Owens to acknowledge the facts and evidence proving that her claims are wrong and to engage constructively with the truth. And each time she has mocked them, and she has repeated and doubled down on her false claims. And I would say also, these types of false statements become a cancer, right? They metastasize into other media outlets, and pretty soon it becomes an accepted part of the narrative. And the president and Mrs. Macron had enough. This is somebody who has put herself, with Candace Owens, has put herself at the epicenter of this lie here in the United States.
Now, remember in the last episode, I said I didn't believe it. I thought that it was very far-fetched. Now, if this is the case, Candace, my darling, that you have the information, legit information, to declare and debunk Brigitte Macron as being a male, of which you have been pushing, as opposed to a female, then why? We'll get into that in a minute. I had Adrian at 48. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I had Adrian at 49. I got pregnant at 48. I was pregnant in year 2018 and he was born in October, but my birthday was in April of that year. So I turned 48 to 49. It's neither here nor there. Because it had been a long journey for me, Ula and I had decided that we'll be quiet about it. I had gotten to about 8 months when my wonderful sister, Ronke, you guys know her, you met her in New York, met her in London, and she had said, Fumi, you look fantastic. And I had been filming every day on the channel, and nobody knew, nobody suspected. Well, one of you had said, Fumi, you're breathing heavily. And she had said, Fumi, show them your baby bump, because I can easily see how you gave birth to Adrian and they will think it was surrogacy, which is not a bad thing, adoption, which we had also considered. They will not believe that you actually birthed him, because you really look good. And I'm a tall girly, and so my torso is long. And so babies, you know, when you're tall like that, you don't show that quickly and you don't show that much. I didn't think anything of it until further down. And I thought, okay, why not? And that was when I showed my baby bump that I was expecting. And even with that, somebody wrote in the comments that, for me, was this a prosthetic bump? I've left it there, you know, all these years now, because Adrian's 7. And I was amused by it because I knew the truth. Upon reflection, if I look back, and I had said to myself, if I want to keep it quiet and just announced Adrian in my arms, would I have proven that I was pregnant? Yes, I would have. Yes, I would have. I might have laughed it off until it really got serious, and I'd be like, you know what, here is all the evidence here. Why did you bring this story up? Because I don't understand why the Macrons sent all of the evidence to Candace when you could have just released it to the press and that would have been done. I don't see why you were trying to sue her. And when I say sue her, it's not necessarily Emmanuel, it is Brigitte. Brigitte is in her 70s. I think that she has that teacher, aesthetic about her. You're a naughty boy, you're a naughty girl. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you. It doesn't work in this modern age. Candace Owens. How did I discover Candace Owens? I discovered Candace Owens through the Justin Baldoni case. All of us YouTubers were covering it. But she, as far as I am concerned, was one of the best. And so there was a lot of fire, there was a lot of steam. Because I'm getting to find out that Candace reached out to them. But Candace, why do you think that she has to respond to you? Maybe she felt that you were repugnant, that you were aggressive. Maybe she didn't like you. Maybe she felt that she didn't have to answer to you. Who is this YouTuber in America that is coming, the audacity of her coming to ask about my gender? Well, Brigitte, you're going to find out in a minute. Because what happened was Candace blew up from this Justin Baldoni case. It was after the Justin Baldoni case that she did Brigitte Macron, because from her words, she reached out to Big Sis and Big Sis did not respond. So she said, well, you know what? Pull up on the accelerator, we going. And that was how this thing caught fire. Unbeknownst and to the dismay of Brigitte, this YouTuber became a global influencer literally overnight, and everybody was covering her from CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and every YouTube space. Well, I've told you, as my husband had humbly told me, Fumi, YouTube is going to be the new TV. And sure enough, it has. I read your comments. A lot of you corrected me. Fumi, he was not 16, he was 14. Listen to me. It doesn't matter to me if he was 14 or 16. It is repulsive to me to be in any era of my 30s to look at a teenage boy. This morning, just this morning, I had to run because I was making banana breakfast for Adrian, and I had to go and get bananas over at Ali. Ali is our little supermarket, and he's our in-between supermarket before you do the big groceries during the week. There was a little boy there. I say little because he was a teenager, and he grabbed a bag of sweets. But when Ali told him the price, he put it down. I said, no, put it in with what I got. And he was like, thank you, really? And I said, yes. I said, all I need for you to do is listen to your parents, be good at school, and be good at sports. And Ali gave it to him. The point being, I took him like my child. He's a baby. I wanted to treat him. That was it. Some people might say his parents didn't want him to have the sweets. I can see you in the comments. The point being, I looked at him as a baby. I can never look at him as anything else. Brigitte, and I'll keep on saying it, the karma came in the form of none other than Candace Owens. A lot of my base is American. A lot of my followers are American. And that's why I'm responding. A lot of you said in America she would go to jail. You are absolutely right. She would. But she's in France, where France did not think that it was an issue. On top of which, again, this 14, 16, 15, I don't know which exact year it was. But Brigitte claimed that it was an intellectual, outside spiritual artiste because they were doing theater and all of that connection. It didn't get physical until much later on. Brigitte, again, I don't care. I don't. I cannot look at a child. And as far as I'm concerned, you're a child until you're 18 for me. And even then, I don't date small boys. I'm 56. If you're 54, you're a small boy. I like older men, 5, 7 years older than me. Yeah, that's my comfortable space. Ula is 5 years older than me. Yeah, we can kick it from there. I'm not trying to date younger. I'm not attracted at all. And yet 54 is a grown man, not attracted to you. That's just me. By you suing Candace, you've only made her a household name globally. She's even going viral in China, or is it Asia, or is it Japan, but somewhere over there. She's even going global. I didn't understand how a sitting president, although I can't, considering that she was your teacher, she smacked you, and she treats you, as we can see, like a boy, like a student. Left to you deep down inside, I don't think that you would have sued all the way in Delaware. But your wife said she's not letting this go. You want peace in your house. So you're like, you know what, let's do one or two things. You went to Trump when you're supposed to have peace talks with Ukraine and Russia. This is you talking about Candace Owens. MAGA, you have to draw the line where you say, wife, I love you and support you. I will ban her from coming to France. But that's all I can do, because I'll begin to look like a buffoon out here mingling with YouTubers, because that's what this is. But Brigitte would not let up. Brigitte, just release all of the wedding pictures. Release all of the prenatal, postnatal visits that you had to have with your 3 children. And that's why I don't believe it. She has 3 children. She was a teacher. She had a whole life before she met Emmanuel. You want to tell me that, as shocked as Emmanuel's parents were, because the father said he almost fell off his chair when he found out that his son, Emmanuel, little boy, cute boy like so, was not dating Brigitte's daughter, but dating the mama. They picked him up and they relocated. As far as I'm concerned, any young boy, that's a crush. He does not know what love is. Love goes in waves. He doesn't know what love is. He might look at you. You're standing like they look at me every once in a while. And they'll be like, Mrs. Desalu-Vold, you're looking quite fabulous. I'll be like, I'm your auntie out here in these streets. I'm your mama. How old's your mom? Yes, I do ask them. Or I'm your big sis. Yes, I do, because there was one guy driving by. Can you please tell me where Hammersmith is? I said, I know you're not addressing me. He said, what? I said, you will come out the car and you'll address big sis and your auntie. How old are you? He said he was 30 odd. I said, no, I'm not going to respond to you to a drive-by. He did come out with his little beard and everything. 30 odd. I said, where do you want to go? He said, I want to go to Hammersmith. I said, well, you take a right and then take another right and then you'll be on King's Road. What do you say? Thank you. I said, I know that's right. No. It does not matter. He was a boy. He was what? A boy. Now, I also heard that they called Michelle Obama also a man. You see, she didn't respond. She also went through IVF. She said, you know what? I can show you everything. Because if there any evidence, it's when you do IVF. Because there are no eggs to be retrieved if you're not a woman. How about that? They've also called me a man. Yes, it's the androgynous in me. I accept it. They've called me many times that I look like Grace Jones. Grace Jones is androgynous. She could play a man, she could play a woman. I don't mind. I know who I am. And if it gets a little too intense, I will give you the evidence. It's not that intense for me. But I think that Brigitte has a deep resentment and distaste for Candace across the board. She didn't like her and she didn't want to respond to her, and she didn't respond to her until she wishes that she should have. But you know what? I'm going to stand 10 toes deep in this. Brigitte does not have to respond to Candace. No. Candace, you are almost 40 years younger than me. You don't step to me like that. I can see how it went down. On top of which, I understand where Candace is going. You said it in the comments too. Fumi, there is too much of child trafficking, and I am a huge advocate for. I don't sleep at night with that. I don't. For some of you that might not know, I quietly work behind the scenes with that. I don't bring it up too much because it just... I cry every single time. I never believed in the death penalty. Never believed in it. Fought against it. Until I began to really work with children that have been trafficked. And that's all I'm going to say. So, in that retrospect, I am side by side with Candace. Having said that, you are accusing the president of France and his wife in engaging in this kind of atrocities. You have to come from a different angle. You will have to come from a different angle, because that's a heavy, heavy accusation. Regardless, and I stand by it, regardless of the fact that I think it is preposterous that Brigitte even saw anything in Emmanuel. And I don't care that Emmanuel grew up to be a man. I don't care. That is a chapter you should have left closed. You should never have gone there because of how it started. Here we have their defamation lawsuit, of which they are accusing Candace of malice, that she did this out of malice, that she did this to cause considerable harm emotionally, mentally, physically, and all of that. Candace, I tell you this, and as you very well know out here in these streets, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. This is going to be survival of the fittest. Do I think that they will win? Well, if it's a defamation suit where they're accusing Candace of malice, meaning that she's doing it knowing fully well that it's not true, that's going to hang very high, because Candace believes that she is a man. Just the way, same energy, I truly believe that Brigitte is absolutely 1,000,000,000% a woman. Point of correction, the female that I put in the last episode is Brigitte's daughter that looks so much like the mother. Instead, Candace is talking about that she's living her life as a man, none other than her older brother. It's so preposterous. I am not watching the 8 episodes, the 8-hour episode. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I am looking at the rationale. So here we are, my darlings. We have Tom Clare, who says Candace has the evidence. She just wants to ignore it and push this.
Born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. We'll figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up, raising your children? That would be fine. For whatever reason, to phone, by the way, like I said, we'll get to the bottom of it. Right, that is what Discovery is for. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. You're probably hoping, this will go away, and at least we'll say we sued her. We'll say we went after her. She'll probably file for this to get dismissed. I'd like to make it to Discovery. I think that we owe that to the world. Anyways, you guys, we are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court.
And Brigitte, my darling, like I said, you're suing Candace Owens. Candace Owens retorted, I'm hoping that we make it to Discovery. I'll see you in court. This is not somebody who's backing down. This is somebody who's going to tear you apart. So if I were you, I would get it all the way together, start to lift weights in your 70s. Yes, get it together, because she has declared war. I went to Candace's YouTube page, and true to form, her top 6 live episodes is not the Justin Baldoni case. It is actually Brigitte Macron. Those are her top lives. We will see in 6 months how it all plays out. But I wanted to come back out here and stand 10 toes deep. I still don't believe it. I don't believe it. And Candace, if you have evidence, all the pictures and all of that, then you know what? That gives us reason for pause. Okay? That's all I got to say on the matter. And Brigitte, just like Candace said, give us some blood work. It's so intrusive. It's so offensive. It's so annoying. It's so undignified. But here we are. You are suing her, and she says, let us go. She's not backing down. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to like, to subscribe. Hit the notification button, my darlings. And I'll see you what? I'll see you sooner than later. All of my love.